G'day punters, and welcome to this week's racing edition of the Spruikers. It's Doncaster week, and it's just about my favourite race on the calendar. Michael Sharkie, welcome. If there's any question of you not returning, they were quelled last week when you tipped Shootout to win the Derby, and we had no choice but to invite you back. So.
Yeah, and Hot Danish Slay of the day. I might have run second, but hey, they don't pay out for a win on second.
Yeah, exactly right. Beautiful work by you. Just before we talk about the Doncaster and the Oaks and the Galaxy this week's features, let's go to Nat Edwards at the news desk and find out what's happening in advance of the big meeting at Randwick.
Thanks, Jake. Jockey Nash Rawiller will appear in the New South Wales Supreme Court today after trainer Gai Waterhouse sought an injunction to prevent Rawiller from riding the Chris Waller train Rangi Randu. Waterhouse is adamant that Rawiller was booked to ride her stable star Thesio in Saturday's $1.5 million Doncaster Mile at Randwick, but Racing New South Wales stewards disagree and have ordered Rawiller to ride Rangi Randu. If Waterhouse is unsuccessful at the Supreme Court, it's likely Hong Kong-based jockey Darren Beedman will ride Thesio in the Doncaster Mile. Typhoon Tracy's trainer Pete Moody says he isn't concerned that the favourite for Saturday's Doncaster Mile at Randwick has drawn a wide barrier. Typhoon Tracy will start from barrier 14, but Moody says he prefers the wider gate and is confident Typhoon Tracy can take out the Group 1 race on Saturday. To the AJC Australian Oaks, and favourites Faint Perfume and Valdemoro have both drawn wide in barriers 11 and 12 respectively. It's the third time these two will go head-to-head, with Faint Perfume winning both encounters so far. And that's all the racing news for now, boys. Back to you.
Thanks, Nat. Nat, I'm making you the first lady of racing after Gai Waterhouse's performance this week. What on earth is she doing?
I don't know, but if she's going to represent herself in the courtroom, does that mean she has to wear one of those the hair wigs?
Yeah, I would imagine so.
That could be the strangest hat she's worn some odd hats. But that could be the strangest hat she's ever worn.
I think it'd suit her down to the ground. I think she's a very attractive, mature woman normally, but I'm off her this week. I don't know what she's doing. Okay. Just so punters know, we're recording this before the Supreme Court case, so we don't actually know the result. No. She may come out and win the case, making us look silly.
That's right.
But nevertheless, let's go to the Doncaster Mile. It's Australia's premier mile race, and it promises to be an absolute beauty because it's got the first lady of the actual track, Typhoon Tracy, who will be favourite for this race. She's $3.30 on Betfair, and I think you might get a better price than that on race day when layers really sink their teeth into things here. Rangi Randu, second favourite at $7.20. His stablemate Dan Lee, $8. Palazzo de Crystal, $12.50. Thesio, who Nash Rawiller may potentially be riding, who knows, at $20, and it's sort of right your ticket the rest. There's a lot of value in this race, a lot of horses in the high double figures, so it makes it a very even affair. A lot of the chances have drawn wide. Do you think this will impact the race, and can Typhoon Tracy be beaten?
I don't think she can. Her record.
Just declaring her.
Oh yeah, absolutely declaring her, and I hope the layers keep on laying because if we get around 350, 360, it's just, you know, you could pay off the house this weekend. Well,
I wish I had enough to at 360 and you're paying off the house, and wow, you're
well, some people might be, you know, the paltry wages that we're on, we might be able to pay off a slab of beer, but yeah.
Correct. What's the saying? You pay peanuts, you get monkeys, and I have no further comment on that. Yeah, correct. I think Typhoon Tracy is not a good thing, but I think she'll be very hard to beat. I think the main chances around her are probably Dan Lee, Rangi Randu and Thesio. Rangi Randu is the only one she gives weight to. She's been beating the males at weight for age. Because it's a handicap, I think that brings Rangi Randu back into it. I'd like to know who's riding Rangi Randu. I'd be more confident if Nash Rawiller's riding. I think Blake Shin's on standby. I'd prefer Nash up top. If Nash is riding, I'm probably going to back Rangi Randu each way. I think he's just a really consistent galloper, and I think he's deserved of a Group 1 victory after running, I think, 3 Group 1 seconds in a row, a couple of them behind Thesio. Typhoon Tracy obviously very hard to beat though, as we said. The AJC Oaks is the premier race of the autumn for fillies, the premier staying affair anyway, and Bart's filly, Faint Perfume, is a 252 favourite. She came from right at the back last time at a very impressive win over Valdemoro, who's the second fave here at 355. Out to Speedy Natalie at 760 and Once Were Wild and Run for Nara in the teens there. As I mentioned, Faint Perfume, a great win last start. Her and Valdemoro cleared out from the rest. You'd think those two would have the rest of that field covered because they're that far in front of them. So the obvious query runner is probably Speedy Natalie.
Yeah, she was good last week, and the Adrian Knox is a good
form
traditionally
race
it is, isn't it?
Going
into the Oaks. But you know, whether she's in the class of Faint Perfume and Valdemoro, I'm not sure. Yeah, Faint Perfume, how good was she last time?
Amazing.
400 metres to go, you would put your house on Valdemoro, and she absolutely grew wings, Faint Perfume. It was a sensational run. It was
a good ride by Blake Shin on Valdemoro and nearly pinched the race last start. This is only her fourth start this campaign. I think Faint Perfume may have had one more, if memory serves. I'm not quite sure. I don't know whether the advantage is one or the other. But can Speedy Natalie come over the top of these two?
I don't think so. I think she's probably running for third or fourth. There is one in the Storm Queen, run about fourth or fifth. I think Ocean Dream, the other Peter Moody runner. Yeah. You'll get about 40 to 1. On the day, but gee, she was a good run. She really got going late. I think she was last on the turn and she ran about fifth. So look, she's one that is definitely going to get the trip. You're going to get good odds, and it might be worth playing her each way if you like the favourites.
I think the Quinella is probably the obvious play in that race. Valdemoro and Faint Perfume. Go to the tote.betfair.com.au. I'm expecting improvement out of Run for Nara as well. She ran some great races against the Colts, ran just okay in the Storm Queen. I think she'll improve in this. The Galaxy is the other Group 1 race on the card at Randwick on Saturday. Hortensia's favourite here, $4. Hasn't had a run since late last year in Perth. It's got to be a query first up, I think, but she's $4, definitely ready. Who's the inexperienced horse from Victoria, $4.40. Swift Alliance, who's been running well, carrying weight in Sydney in the last few starts. He's $7.20. Delightning Ridge, who set a track record at Randwick last start at $7.60. Dwarf Command, $11.50. Double figures and teens and 20 plus the rest. It's another really open race, Mick.
Yes.
I'm finding it difficult to find a standout. I think Hortensia is a query runner, as I mentioned, definitely ready. We're going to find out if he's up to it this week. I don't know. How are you going to play this Galaxy?
Probably see what odds Hortensia gets out to, because I think the money will come for Swift Alliance. I think he's going pretty well, and I think Sydney punters will be keen to back him.
Yep.
There's a lot of speed in this race, and that might just play into the hands of Hortensia. Definitely ready, we know he's very quick. Drawn barrier 1, could just rail like a greyhound.
Could do.
We've got a couple others that'll go forward. The Lightning Ridge race handy. Gold Trail, $19 there. I think that's over the odds for that horse. He's got a lot of speed and he races well fresh. So if Hortensia can sort of just tuck in behind the speed, have a soft run, pull out, she'll be finishing stronger than some of those leaders.
Yeah, look, I think there's a few in the race that are relying on speed. She's one of them, and the others are mares actually. Delightning Ridge, I think, got back when she set that track record and ran on. Dwarf Command came from either further back than her and really ran on hard. I liked Dwarf Command last start, but she was disappointing behind Swift Alliance. Delightning Ridge, I think, is the one for me. She's got the Sydney lead-up form, set the track record, as I said, beat Swift Alliance home by a couple of lengths last start, and he gives her, I think, another 3 kilos or something like that. So look, I think she's probably the one I'll be going for at $7.60. I think she's the obvious value. Mick, I'll get your Betfair Big Spruik in just a minute, but before we do, will Nat tip Faint Perfume again?
The Bart fetish.
The Bart fetish. Will it continue? Nat, let us know.
The Betfair Big Spruik.
Alrighty guys, well it pains me to say this, but I've ditched Bart this week in the Australian Oaks. Faint Perfume is going to be very hard to beat in my opinion, but I've got to go with my Omen bet and back Speedy Natalie to take it out in her first run at 2,400 metres. You never know, it could happen. And in the Doncaster Mile, I don't think you can look past Typhoon Tracy. She's won her last 4 Group 1 races over this distance, and I just think she can make it 5 in a row.
You could blow me down with a feather. Nat's tipped against Bart.
Can't believe it.
She's off him.
Turncoat.
Remarkable. Speedy Natalie, that's an interesting selection from Natalie. Yeah.
And was
pretty
a really
colours,
good
and I like the number.
High school 100
Speedy
metres.
Natalie.
She said she was unbeatable, so you have to take that based on that information.
Well, look, hopefully she gets home. Mick, what are you making your Betfair Big Spruik of the week?
Oh, Typhoon Tracy is one for me. I'm happy to stick with her. If punters want a couple of each way, longer priced runners, we'll go with Ocean Dream in the Oaks.
Okay.
And we'll try Gold Trail at $19. I don't know why he's that price. He's a good horse, he's an on-pace horse, and he's got a lot of fight in him at the end of his races. So $19 in the Galaxy for Gold Trail might be a nice each way bet.
You can certainly do worse than that. I think Typhoon Tracy is the standout in the Doncaster, but I'm going to have something on Rangi Rangdu each way, particularly if Nash is up top. I also like the Lightning Ridge in the Galaxy. Mick, I spoke briefly about the Betfair SP last week. It's available on more markets now, including place markets on Melbourne and Sydney Metro races and on Metro races for the win throughout Australia. It's a great product. Jump onto sp.betfair.com.au, particularly if you're not in front of the PC when it comes up to race time. Michael Sharkie, thanks again for joining us this week.
Mate, we've had monkeys, we've had a dog running around. Next
had
week,
phones
can we
going
organise a small African elephant, maybe, just to sort of...
Maybe we can both sit on
background?
one each. That'd be pretty clever.
What about camels?
Camels, now we're talking.
I like it.
Mick, thanks for that contribution. Best of luck to you on the punt this weekend.
And to you, Jake.
And to you punters, all the very best on Doncaster Day. Look forward to catching up with you again next week.